Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money,
Dollar, dollar.
What up? What's good, chat, man? I'm back with another video. You heard me. So this one right here is gonna be a story time of the journey about my business, how I kind of started, what was the mindset, the journey that I've been on so far. And if you see my last video, me opening the sample, this is kind of a more detailed video, just following up that, just to give y'all more information to hopefully, man, just let y'all know what the business is and just things like that. Just stick to the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that type of stuff, man. Much love, man. Will be appreciated. With that being said, without further ado, let's get right into it. You hear me? So boom. So let's go all the way back when I was a jit. I was a little kid, right? And I was in elementary at this point in my life. So I mentioned in my last video. So my dad, my parents, first and foremost, my parents, they used to take us to the mall. So when they would take us to the mall, it would like usually be like back to school or during income tax. So during those type of seasons, my parents would take us to the mall and me and my brothers buy a couple outfits and stuff like that. Me personally, I enjoyed wearing Nike and Jordan. So me wanting Nike and Jordan, I will always we go to the mall. I'm going to Foot Locker, Champion or Champs or whatever. I'm like, I want Nike and Jordan. My dad be like, why you spending $30 on a Nike T-shirt when it only costs Nike $5 to make? Now at the moment of time, I heard him, I listened to him, but I wanted the Nike and Jordan at the time. You heard me? So then at the same time when I'm in elementary, my grandma, she used to get these custom T-shirts in San Antonio, where she would like basically like it'll be a superhero, the superhero body, and she'll put my face like as Batman. You know what I'm saying? Like my face would be on Batman's body, if that makes sense. So I was always aware and always had like custom type T-shirts, and I was always aware of like having something of my own, right? So then you fast forward years later, I'm in high school. So at this point in time, I'm 17, well, I'm 16, 17. This is my like sophomore and junior year in high school. So me, my brothers, and my cousins will go to the mall every now and then. And every time we went to the mall, I would go to a custom shop, or I'll go to a place that makes custom T-shirts. And I have an idea in my head. So I go to the shop, and they get on their computer. I show them like, hey, this is my idea. They try to bring it to life as best as they could. And every time I would do that while I was in high school. Now I never told nobody, and whenever I was doing it, I wasn't doing it to, sell a brand or sell a T-shirt. I just wanted something of my own. Now, so after I get that T-shirt made, of course I'll go home, them type of things. And when I go home, I'll open up the T-shirt, take it out the bag. I'll lay it on my bed. And once I lay it on my bed, I get to thinking like, is this something that I would wear? If I wear this and I go walking around wearing it, would somebody be like, hey man, I like your T-shirt, where you get it from? And I could be like, well, this is my personal brand. But to be honest, it was mid. I really didn't like the brands, but not only that, the brands that I created, that I thought I created at that moment of time, they was already created. So whenever I laid my, T-shirt on the bed, I would think that I'll look up online, like I'll search up the brand that I thought I created, and it was always something that was already created. So I was kind of doing that behind the scenes, like while I was in high school and stuff like that. Never told nobody about it, besides my cousins and my brothers. They was the only ones that knew about it. And so after that, so you fast forward a couple years. So I graduated in 2020 during COVID-19. So for me, graduation was a little bit different. You know what I mean? If you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? My peers, they know what it is. So at this point in time, school for us was canceled early. When school was canceled, we couldn't go back to school, and a lot of things was a little different. So after that, that's the moment that I graduated. Even after I graduated, I decided to take some time off. So after high school, I ended up taking a break. And then at this point in time, I kind of forget about making something of my own. I'm not even thinking of really nothing. I get put into society, working a regular job, and stuff like that. You got to pay bills and things of that nature. So I'm working a regular job and stuff like that, a retail business. And then while I'm working a retail business, then I get in another position. So year two go by, so it's around 2020. So around 2020, I meant not 2020, 2022. I meant part of my little mess up. This straight off the head. You feel me? I'm just trying to, remember, reminisce. Them type of things. Just trying to give y'all a story time, but I want it to be authentic. You feel me? So, this ain't rehearsed, no script or nothing. This is me. You hear me? But like, so 2022. I start working two jobs. So I start working two jobs. I'm working at a grounds crew outside. So I'm mowing, I'm riding the lawn mowers, them type of things, cutting down trees, trimming bushes, fixing the turf, and, painting track fit, just doing like them type of things, right? Just I was working at the athletic grounds crew. At the same time, I was working at a retail business. So, I was working two jobs. So around 2022, while I'm working two jobs, one thing about me and the people, if you know me, you know me. You heard me? If you know me, you know me. So I like to put my headphones in. I like to vibe. I like to dance. And, I'm not the best dancer. I ain't no Chris Brown, no Michael Jackson or nothing. But, I do my little thing. If you see my videos, you see my content, you know what I'm talking about. Or if you ever met me or been in the presence of me, you know what I'm talking about. You heard me? So I like to vibe, have one headphone in, vibing, and, having a headphone in, the music, it kind of keeps me motivated to even want to, I'm working, them type of things. So one day I'm trimming bushes. So while I'm trimming bushes at my first job, I'm trimming bushes, and one of these college students, he was a marketing manager, or he was going to school for marketing. I was just vibing, and he came up to me, he said, "Hey, excuse me." I'm like, "Man, what's good?" You heard me? He was like, "Man, I like your vibe. Like, you got good energy." He said, "Man, do you have social media?" I like, "Yeah, I got social media, but I don't. I have a social media account, but I don't use social media. Like, I only post a story every other month. I really don't post no pictures or nothing. You feel me? Usually, I have a social media just to text, friends or people I meet, them type of things. You heard me?" So he was like, he's like, "Oh," he said, "Well, I go to school for marketing, or I go to school for social media, whatever that whatever that subject in school, like in college that they study, whatever." He's like, "Man, I do marketing, man." He said, "Man, you should get on the internet, whatever." I said, "Man, I'm not really an internet type of individual." You hear me? Like, I'm doing other things at this point in time. If you know, you know. So he hit me up. He's like, "Man, you should, you got good energy, you got good personality." And he started showing me different like social medias of people that he was working with and stuff like that. So I was like, "Man, I'll think about it." So right after I met him, literally about a week or two later, I met another individual, and he was an older individual. But he did marketing and stuff, helping other people with marketing. And he was like, "Hey, bro, I like your personality. I like, you should be on social media or whatever." I told him the same thing I told the other individual. So then it got me thinking. I said, "Well, maybe I should give the social media a try." So I was working two jobs at this point in time, so I couldn't even really be on social media even if I wanted to. I was too busy, and working two jobs. I'm getting up like 6 in the morning, getting off at 3, going to my other job, working at 4, getting off at 12. You heard me? So it's like I really ain't had time to be on social media, scrolling stuff like that. So what I did, I hired one of them. Well, I hired a marketing manager to market my social media. So all I would do is send him pictures and quotes and captions, whatever. Like, "Here, post this, and you do you, and I do me, because I'm working two jobs. I gotta work. You handle the social media, I handle this. I'll pay you whatever I got to do." You hear me? So they start doing that. So it was October 19th, 2022 is my very first official post on social media. And at this moment of time, I was nervous. I ain't even gonna lie, I didn't even know what to post. Because at this point in time, like, I could say that I gave a fuck. I gave a fuck. You know what I'm saying? I was like, "Man, what are these people gonna think about me? What they gonna say about me?" You heard me? These type of things. But then, once I got to thinking about it, after some time, I'm like, "Man, fuck it." You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just do it. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? What's the worst that could happen? You know what I'm saying? They gonna talk. go ahead and talk. If you like to talk, go ahead and talk. Keep my name in your mouth and give me free publicity. That's how I look at it, you know. But so at this moment of time, social media, I'm not used to the social media. So my marketing team, they're like my marketing manager, the one that's running my social media, which is mainly Instagram at this point in time. I start, getting a lot of clout followers and I'm getting a lot of love on the social media side of things. So then from there, after 2022 ended, it was around 2023. So mind you, I'm staying consistent, posting like every 3 to 4 days, every day, every week. Every 3 to 4 days, I'm staying consistent. So then around 2023 of April, before April, so around 2023, I was like, man, what's something I could give the people that I could make, a little bit of money, put some extra money in my pocket because I'm tired of working two jobs. Now I respect working two jobs, and at the moment of time, the way my mindset is, like, it's easy. Like, I never complain. Like, other people who I worked with and other people I was around, they would complain for me, but I never complain. I just got the work done. You feel me? And don't get me wrong, my body would get tired. My body would get tired, but oh well, this is what I signed up for. I know what I signed up for when I filled out those applications and went through the interview process. I knew what I was getting myself into. So I can't complain about that. And I never did complain about that. But so I start thinking, like, how can I transition getting my supporters on my social media and people that, they fuck what I'm doing, and I'm showing the love to a lot of other people. I said, well, how can I turn that into somewhat of a profit to, get my supporters over here to support me over here in my business, and I could progress not only for myself but even for the people that supported me and help bless everybody around me. I'm better something bigger than me. But at this moment in time, I didn't really know too much about the business. I didn't really know too much what I was getting into. All I knew is what I was good at, and I knew how to draw. I knew how to create something. I knew how to create. I just knew how to create. God gave me a mindset to create, and He gave me a vision, and I stuck with that vision. So I created my first brand, and for the people that been tuned in with me, the people that know me, I've had my first brand and Trap Babies, right? And that was a public brand, right? But before that, I was always doing other things. But when I made Trap Babies, um, it's a different meaning behind it that I'm not gonna speak on because I'm not trying to glorify that. But if you know, you know, and it was more had to do with like other type things. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna keep it a little professional. I'm gonna leave that in the streets. But if you know, you know. If not, oh well. Welcome to my world. If you want to know, you can hit my line. We can talk about it some other time. Person to person, man to man, man to a woman, or whatever. I ain't afraid to speak. But so I created Trap Babies, and at first I'm putting it out there. I'm staying consistent. I'm going crazy. I'm making a little money. I got money. I'm working. I had two jobs, and I made a little bit of money on social media. So what I start doing, I start releasing, new Trap Baby merch like every month. I try to do it every month, but sometimes it'll take a little bit longer than that. But I try to stay as consistent as I could. A lot of my supporters, the people who was watching me from the beginning, they were supporting me. You know what I'm saying? Now I got a lot more love from the outside world, rather than my own community, my own people. But I'm always grateful. The people, they starting to show me love now. My people, my community is finally starting to show me love. I'm grateful. I'm thankful for any type of love I get in the first place. I can never not be grateful. But so that happens, and I'm staying consistent. Whatever, I'm making my brand, blah blah blah. So this is during 2023. So towards the end of 2020, at this same time that I'm doing all this, I meet some other people, and then my peers and the people that I'm starting to hang around with, they all go to college. They're all college students, so they started encouraging me. Hey man, you should go to college. Have you ever thought about going back to school? These type of things, and even the people the jobs that I was working at, my boss and my managers would tell me like, you ever thought about going back to school? My son went to school, and these type of things. So then that's whenever I decided that I'm gonna go back to school. So around 2023, I was working towards going to school and studying business administration. And so I remember I got accepted at business administration, It was early in the morning. I was working my first job. And shout out my boss at that time because he wrote me a recommendation letter. So did my other boss and my other job. They wrote me a recommendation letter. So one day, I remember early in the morning, I forget the exact date. But I remember I was walking. I was actually picking up trash, throwing it in a bucket, because this particular area that I was cleaning, we usually don't clean this area. But today, with it, just like, man, since we already caught up on everything, just walk through here. We'll meet you on the other end. So I'm picking up trash. I get a phone call. Blah, hello? Who's this? Hey, blah blah blah. This South Plains, and we want to accept you to college, and blah blah blah. You just got to send in some other information, these type of things. And I was already setting up online. They gave me my school number, my student ID number, them type of things, and whatever. So I was like, cool. Get accepted to college. So after I get accepted into college, now I gotta wait for the semester to start. So the semester don't start until August. So at this point in time, I'm figuring out, I'm stacking up money, I'm doing what I do, and other personal stuff. Life is life, and I was dealing with a lot of things. So then, once August came around of 2023, that's whenever I went and I, got me a newer apartment and stuff like that, and that's when I started my college journey. After that, I was only working one job. I was working my retail job, and me, when I work a job, I wasn't working for the job itself. Yes, I'm working to get some money, stack up some money, but me personally, how I went into my mindset of working a job was I was going to work for the experience. I'm only working for the experience and to network with people, because both the jobs that I was working at, the first job, the morning job I was at, I got to network with a lot of college students. And then after that, my second job, my retail job, I got to meet a lot of business owners, business people, because the store I was working at was a hardware store. So they would come, like business owners and all types of businesses from out of state. They would come and they need tools to fix certain things with their business, signs, and you meet all types of people who could make wood, people who could own mechanic shops, restaurants, food trucks, clubs, bars, etc. Real estate, whatever. And so after that, I start my college journey. I'm only working one job, and at this point, I kind of take a break from the business and to focus on real life things. Make sure certain things like that. I'm at this point in time, I'm on top of the game. So before I take a break from the business, I end up making some good money. I done made, let's just say, I done made six figures. You know what I'm saying? I done had a comma in my bank account. You know what I'm saying? 3 numbers in front of the comma, 3 numbers behind the comma. If you know, you know. If you watch my content, or if you watch me, you know what I'm talking about. But if you don't, oh well, mind your business. I was just blessed and I was grateful for that type of opportunity. So after that, I focused on my journey. So after this, towards the end of 2023, around 2024 and 2025, or really 2024, I started networking and moving around my city, going to events, going to, just going different places. And if you know, if you've been tuned in with me, you watch my mini vlogs and you watch things, you know what I'm talking about. I've been moving around just so I could put myself out there so people, because a lot of people didn't really know me besides the internet. The internet is everybody's highlight reels, so you never get the truth, or you never get to really see who somebody is behind the internet. Now, some people is authentic, some people aren't. So I make these YouTube videos to try to be authentic, but I'm only a human being. I'm trying to figure this out just like, everybody else, whatever. But, so after that, I'm going on my journey, and I still have my brand Trap Baby, so I'm slowly, working on that. So once I'm educated, not only am I going to college, but I'm also educating myself. So while I'm educating myself, reading books, just taking upon my time, reading books, and, I start, at this same time, I start my spiritual journey. When I say spiritual journey, I mean my journey getting close to God, to the higher creator, to the Almighty. And for me, I believe in Jesus. So Jesus Christ, that was my journey. And along that journey, I was putting myself out there for the people. So I made myself consistent enough to the public, so people got to get familiar who I am, got to get familiar with the face, why I got the gloves on, them type of things. But it's always fashion with the gloves, FYI. But, and them type of things. and I got blessed with my little feathers. You know, you see me wear my feathers. You know, it was a lot of journey. It was a healing journey that I was on, healing my inner self. Not all the way, not fully. Still working on certain things, but it was a bigger step in my journey to let go of my ego and prosper and do something bigger and better than me, rather than walk around with ego trying to be all King Tucker, stuff like that. I had to let certain things go, and I had to learn how to grow. So then this is when stuff started getting real. So then I was like, okay, I want a business. I want something that not just for me, but something for I'm building something bigger than myself. And what I mean by that is I'm building something that could last for generations. So all right, let me slow this down a little bit. So during 2023 or whatever, or 2024, during the end of 2023, 2024, I'm putting myself out there, right? So I'm putting myself out there so people could get familiar who I am. They get to learn about me, they get to see me, and then they get to base a different opinion. Because a lot of people make assumptions, but until you meet me in person, until you have a conversation with me, they're like, hold on, I fuck with them. You hear me? Them type of things. But so at the same time, I'm like, okay, let me get my LLC, EINs. Let me open up a business bank account. So that's what I do. Now, the only reason why I did that legally was so my business and my company could be legit, so it could be real within the Secretary of State and them type of things. But at the same time, I was thinking about opening my own store. I wasn't thinking about just making my own selling my own merchandise. I was thinking about selling shoes, maybe some designer here and there, like them type of stores, right? So I opened up a business bank account, and I'm thinking, I'm creating a business plan, with every month to see projecting what I'm gonna make, how much I'm gonna make, the money I need for equipment, business, them type of things, business expense, and so of course I get like accountants and stuff like that, and I'm thinking about opening a store. So one day I'm riding around in my city, I'm looking at like them strip malls, like them outside malls, them strip malls, or them plazas, or whatever you call those places. And then I went to the mall, to my local mall, because my local mall has empty buildings or has empty spaces. So I can either rent a place over here, or I can rent something else like this while I'm trying to create my business plan. So while I'm riding around, I'm looking, you know what I'm saying? I'm just riding around, whatever. Ooh. And I was like, this was my exact thought. While I'm driving, I'm like, if I was the white man, and what I mean by the white man, I mean like the elite, the higher up people, the people that's more professional, the more sophisticated people. You know what I'm saying? What would they think if I had my logo, my brand on the front of a store? If I had my brand in a mall, my store in the mall, if somebody was walking by, what would they think? Now, my brand was named Trap Babies. Now, let's be real. Trap Babies to me was like, okay, it's a baby store. He probably sell baby clothes or toys or something. You feel me? So then it was like, okay, I gotta rebrand. I gotta think of something different. So I'm running around and I'm like, damn, damn, you know what I'm saying? I gotta rebrand. I gotta start from back from square one. I thought I was ready for the owning the stores and stuff like that, but I gotta step back. So I stepped back a little bit, and I already have like business stuff like that. So while I'm creating my business plan, because I done talked to what do you call those bank tellers, or those people that in the bank that that they look over your business plan, and they be like, well, we could approve you for this amount of loan, we can give you this amount of loan, depending on your business. Now, real estate or retail was the business that I was in. So retail is a hard business to get in. Banks, they give you good money for retail, but it's like taking a risk, taking a gamble. They'll rather give you more money for like real estate and them type of things. You heard me? But that's a whole nother conversation. So after that, I go back home. When I go back home, I get on my iPad. I'm writing down I literally wrote like 50 plus names, like probably like 80 names in total, just mix matching names and stuff like that, trying to create something. But at this point in time, I was on my spiritual journey, like I mentioned. So I I found my purpose in life, and my purpose was to spread tangible, intangible wealth, something that lasts a lifetime. So if I give you a new perspective on life, I gave you something that lasts a lifetime. Not only that, but if once I become successful and I could teach you how to run a business, start a business, and build generational wealth, I just taught you something on the business aspect that could last a lifetime. So I found my purpose, right? And I was trying to think of what's a business name that aligns with my purpose, but isn't attached to me. Even though my purpose is the same as my business, let's say I was to die, and then, or after years, and my company becomes a very successful company, there's gonna be other people that want to buy it, other people want to buy into it. There's gonna be other investors into it, other owners into it, and my kids might not necessarily want the business. And as long as they do whatever they feel like they want to do, what they feel like with whatever they enjoy doing. So I have to make sure that my business still has a purpose, with or without me attached, because I might get to a position in my life where I sell the business, but at least my business by itself could hold on its own with its own purpose. But I wanted to make sure that it's aligned with my purpose. So while I'm building my business, it's easier for me to work on my business and have my life, and, not have to balance the two. This is just what it is. This is what I do. This is what I do for a living. You heard me? So I'm going through the list of names, and one name stuck out the most. It stuck out when I first wrote it, and it stuck out the most as I'm doing it. I'm like, man, E-Money Essentials. E-Money Essentials. E-Money Essentials. I was like, man, they got a ring to it. You heard me? They got a little ring to it. You feel me? I ain't even gonna cap it. It had a little ring to it. But I was like, okay, E-Money Essentials, that sound good. I said, okay, how do I get a good mission statement behind it? Because I want to make sure that this is bigger than me. You feel me? Like, even though, yes, it's starting off surrounding me, but it's bigger than me. Once it takes off, like I mentioned, if somebody else wants to buy it, it still has that purpose in the building. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, E-Money stands for empowerment and generational wealth. Blah, blah, blah. Part of, damn, I'm getting tongue twisted, but E-Money stands for empowerment and generational wealth, reflecting just the financial growth of things. And essentials is providing the essential needs that people need. They need homes, they need clothes, things like that. And of course, it's bigger. My business is bigger than clothing. Like right now, I'm starting off with clothing because it's something that I'm already used to. It's already something that I have experience in. It's something that I know that people need clothes on the back. And for me, my mission statement, or when it comes to the clothes, if I put clothes on your back, or I give you a nice T-shirt, I just built up your confidence. When you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you can perform better, whether you're working a job, you're at a party, or you're at an event. If you have a nice T-shirt, you have nice clothing on, you will feel good and you can perform better. You have confidence. You're looking in the mirror like, yeah, I'm him, or I'm her, or whatever your situation is. But for me, I'm like, yeah, I'm him. You heard me? So when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you do good. You feel me? And no matter what you're doing. And that was the purpose behind the clothing. Now, while I'm creating this brand, I was like, okay, that's it. That's what I like. For me personally, I said it got a ring to it. I enjoy that. So the mission statement is, yes, E-Money Essentials is starting at this moment of time while I'm making this video, and the videos and the promotion that I'm doing. Yes, it's starting off with retail, the clothing side of things, but it's bigger than clothing. My company is an umbrella company, so I could branch out and I could do real estate, I could do restaurant, I could do the digital game, which is like technology, or I could have like my own type of Tesla, electric cars, and I could do my real estate. But of course, I'm not gonna name it E-Money Essentials Restaurant. It's gonna be a different name, but it's still under the same company, if that makes sense. And for my business owners, my investors, and people who own business and know business, you know what I'm talking about. So if you want to invest in a little money, hey man, at least my company is bigger. At least your money is safe with me. I promise you that. I guarantee you that. You hear me? So one thing about me, know how to make some money. They print money every day, and in this world, in this day and age, it's digital money. So hey, digital money could be as much as we make it to be. But that's processing, that's just for my business owners. But so I creating money essentials. So I create the logo that you see here. I created this logo back in January of 2025. And so with all that being said, you know what I'm saying? I got a vision, I got a purpose. I'm not gonna stop till I get there. You feel me? When a man finds his purpose, it's hard to take him off that purpose, and I'm on that journey right now. But so during 2025, I created my logo, E Money Essentials. But at this point in time, a lot of people know me for Trap Babies. So I was like, how do I go from Trap Babies to E Money Essentials? But at this point in time, I'm doing my content thing, so I'm moving. We going around different cities. I'm traveling a little bit, them type of things. Putting myself out there and networking and creating a team and working with other teams, things like that. If you know, you know. And if you watch my content, then you know what I'm talking about. But I'm being a part of different events, so I'm focusing on a lot of things. But then I think of an idea. I was like, well, let me create something that I could do like a collaboration with Trap Babies and E Money Essentials. But what would be a good collaboration that I could collab the two? But really, I wanted this collaboration so I could introduce the people that fuck with Trap Babies or the people that supported me because of Trap Babies. I could get them to go to E Money Essentials because E Money Essentials is the company and is the thing that I lose sleep over. I put blood, sweat, and tears into this. It's gonna be a cold day in hell. Somebody try to take this from me. We live by this. We die by this. We don't surrender. We don't retreat. Them type of things. So it's like this is the company that I'm willing to die behind. Like, you know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is like I believe in this company so much that if you ask me what would Jesus do, Jesus, he'll die about it. You know what I'm saying? This is something that I could stand on. You feel me? This is something I could stand on. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a cold day in hell. Somebody try to take this from me. You know what I'm saying? We live by this. We die by this. We don't surrender. We don't retreat. You heard me? So, Trap Babies, obviously the word trap in Trap Babies kind of deals with trapping. You know what I'm saying? Kind of has that trap ego to it. So I said, well, let me do Tony Montana. Tony Montana, Scarface. Hey, Chico, I want the world and everything in it. You heard me? The world is mine, how I felt. So I said, okay, so Trap Babies will be good for, the Tony Montana type of theme. But E-Money Essentials is a global company, and it will be a global company. So how do I mix the trap with the global? I said, well, Tony Montana already says the world is yours, so why don't I put the world tour? So on the back of the t-shirt, and it was only limited drop, so not a lot of people got to get it. But it was just to introduce E-Money Essentials, so I didn't really want to put too much into it because I was focused on E-Money Essentials. So I said, okay, let me combine the trap with the global. So I made like four different, different like graphics, whatever, for like a street type of wear t-shirt. And it was more like the Tony Montana, the world is yours. It was that type of theme, but I changed it into the world tour, which the world is yours. So that's what I was telling everybody. But it was the world tour. So on the back of the t-shirt it said world tour, and it had different like states and countries, like like New York, Australia, them type of things. On the back of the t-shirt and the front of the t-shirt I had different graphics. So like two of the graphics was like Tony Montana themed, and the other two was just like something that was just like represents like global. So that's what I did to do a collaboration with Trap Babies and E Money Essentials to introduce people to E Money Essentials. So once that happened, I released only a little bit. I didn't release it too long, and it was only a short term. Like, you have to really be fucking with me, or you have to really be watching me to know that part of the journey. So I did that. Then I had E Money Essentials. Life is life. I'm going through a lot of other things, working and figuring out things, just mentally reprogramming and spiritually, a lot of things going on. So then you fast forward from 2020, that's going on there in 2025, like towards the beginning of 2025 and the summer of 2025. So then after the summer of 2025, I started like doing a little bit of reprogramming, them type of things. So I already knew that I was gonna have my brand E Money Essentials. But at this point in time, I said, well, I'm not gonna release nothing for E Money Essentials because it's already the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just wait till 2026 and then just step on people's necks and I'll just go forward and you're just gonna have to watch the journey. You feel me? So that was my mindset. So then 2026, the logo that I created back in 2025, that's when you see E Money Essentials right here, right now, on this t-shirt. Now this was a prototype t-shirt. This not even the sample. I just had somebody make this just so I can have it, right? But I do got the samples. If you see my last video, I got the samples, and well, I get a little bit more into that. You feel me? I'll get a little bit into that a little bit more. But so 2026 is like, okay, now I'm putting my brand out there publicly and them type of things. So now let's talk about E Money Essentials. Now this right here, this is a sample, right? This was the first sample. You see my last video, this was a sample. And I want to do a close-up so y'all could kind of see the quality, you feel me, of the t-shirt. Like this right here is not no cheap shit. I can tell you that right now. This ain't no cheap shit. This is top quality. This is the best of the quality. This is after it's been washed, a couple of times. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if camera is good because I'm recording off one of my phones right now. So, hopefully you get to see the details and, the quality of the t-shirt. This is a very thick cotton. This is a 220G cotton. You know what I'm saying? And for my brand owners, for people who know, y'all know. So this right here was a sample, right? This is the closest that it's gonna get. Now, when I first got this sample, I did the video. I did a reaction to my sample, right? And I was like, ooh, this is tough, all that type of stuff. And, I enjoyed the sample. I got to wear it, test it. I got, my other samples or whatever. But this right here, and I mentioned in my last video, this isn't the official sample. So this right here, I'm going to have my own custom tag. So this isn't going to be on there. I'm going to have my own custom tag. I'm going to have some hem tags. So a hem tag is those tags that go at the bottom of your t-shirt. So I'm going to have the hem tags. And I adjusted the logo a little bit because the way when you put it on, the logo kind of sits lower than where I wanted it. But, that's the thing of a sample. That's the thing about having a business, you heard me? Is you got to sample products and it's about trial and error. But see, this is the thing. That's why I'm making these videos, so y'all could be along my journey. So here in the next 20, 30 year long run, we can all look back at it, be like, dang, E Money Essentials started from there. And then I want people to be a part of the journey. I don't really see, from the clothing brand people that I've looked at and watched, I don't really see people doing this. Usually people, they gotta be all bougie and they gotta have nice, good photo shoots and, things like that. But I'm trying to give you something raw, something more authentic. Now, of course, don't get me wrong. Once I get my better samples, I will have more photo shoots, more better qualities, in videos and stuff like that. But I want this to be as real as I can make it. And this is the best way that I know how to do that, just being true to myself and doing what I do. You heard me? So this is E Money Essentials. Now, let me explain this t-shirt. So for a lot of my fashion people like, man, that shirt's simple. It's not really giving like fashion. It's not really like blah, blah, blah. It's just a simple t-shirt, and that's the purpose of this. This t-shirt is the foundation t-shirt. So this t-shirt is an everyday wear type of t-shirt. This could go from the old people to the young people. There's no limit to this t-shirt. It's something that you can wear every day. Now, that was the purpose of it, and this is going to be affordable. Of course, it's not, this ain't no cheap quality, so, it's going to be affordable, though. That's what I wanted, something affordable for everybody. Now, I'm going to give you a little sneak peek. So my next drop is more of a fashion type of t-shirt. So this is the type of t-shirt you can step outside, take some good photos, and them type of things. My next t-shirt is going to be a little bit more expensive, a little bit more detail into it. And, I already got like 3 or 4 drops ready to drop. But you know what I'm saying? That's just a sneak peek. That's just to give you an idea that I definitely know what I'm doing. I definitely did a lot of research. I read a lot of books, them type of things. But E Money Essentials, this right here is just the foundation tee. This is just something basic. This is just the start of something bigger. You know what I'm saying? This is the official start of E Money Essentials. This is literally where it's all began. You feel me? And I've been working on it for about a year now. So now the year 2026 is the year for me to present it to everybody, to present it to y'all, and hopefully, man, hopefully y'all know y'all support me, y'all show me some love, and it don't cost nothing to show. It doesn't cost nothing to show a motherfucker some love. You heard me? You know what I'm saying? So boom, that's the foundation t-shirt. My next t-shirt, whenever it's time, and y'all will know when it's time. I'm gonna do my promotion, did them type of things, and you're gonna see that his next t-shirt is definitely better than this one, but it's more of a fashion t-shirt, and it will be a little bit more expensive. So it's not gonna be a t-shirt for everybody. It's gonna be a t-shirt that people have a little bit of money to spend, and if you supporting my business, or you're gonna support the business regardless. You feel me? But that's the idea and the journey that I've been on so far with E-Money Essentials and my company, my business, and where I started and them type of things. And you know, um, just the FYI, like when people still wonder about my college journey, if you care about it, I end up dropping out after 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Then after that, I wasn't even working for like I wasn't working no job and nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? So I learned how to be a businessman, but I do more than clothing. I do a little bit of e-commerce. I done did like a lot of other things. You know what I'm saying? I done created social media pages without my face being involved. I done created motivational pages, meme pages. I done created clip pages. I done created a lot of other pages, and I did a lot of things. I didn't even have other clothing brands without my face attached to it. You know what I'm saying? So I've done a lot, you know what I'm saying? And I done made a lot of business money, but business money is business money. You feel me? So right now I'm just investing in something bigger than myself, bigger than me. So this right here is just E-Money Essentials. This right here is just a story time of the journey of somewhat of my mindset, and y'all get to be a part of it. That's the amazing thing about me being able to record the process, and y'all get to see. So right now I'm waiting for another sample. It's coming. It's actually getting made right now. I will upload production videos and stuff like that with my tags on it, my hem tags at the bottom of the t-shirt, and hopefully this should be the final sample. So once I get that final sample and I get it, I see it, of course I'm gonna have a little photo shoots with it and things like that, good quality, top quality, and then that's whenever I'm gonna start the process of doing pre-orders. And for the people that's already supported me, the people that already said I got you, you feel me? Hey, just show me some love. All I want you to do is just put on a t-shirt, take a picture with it if you want, do a review of it, and things like that. Man, I'm grateful, I'm blessed, and I just I pray every day about everything. So I can't even. And I want to end it like this: God is my whole foundation. I couldn't do none of this without God. None of this would be possible without God. God gave me a vision, and this is my vision. And God, I can't even tie my shoes right without God being in the presence of it. And you know, I really should have, now I'm thinking about it, I should have started off this video with a prayer. But you know what I'm saying? I did pray before the video, before I hit record. I pray over everything. You feel me? So, I'm just, I know for sure, I know for a fact with God all things are possible. So I know for a fact my company in a long term of things, in a long run, it will be $1 billion company. You feel me? And the more I grow and the more I prosper, the more the bigger it becomes, the more solid foundation. Right now I'm just setting brick by brick by brick. After that is said and done, it's over with. Hey man, the marathon continues. The marathon continues. We'll put it like that. This is a marathon, not a sprint. You heard me? So we're focused on the long run of things. And with God, I know that this company, this business, my faith, everything, I'm putting a lot into this. So, hopefully, you know what I'm saying? I mean, not hopefully, this for sure gonna work. And if it don't work, it's still gonna work. I don't see no other way. You know what I'm saying? But this is the journey. Hopefully I enjoyed it. Hopefully it makes sense to some of y'all. Hopefully I wasn't too confusing all over the place. I'm still trying to get used to it. It's like rappers, they go in the studio, they freestyle. I don't do scripts. I don't write scripts. I don't plan nothing. This is straight off the top of my head. So hopefully, it makes sense. And I rewatched the video. So if you see this, then I just like, hey, it's cool. I put it out there to the world. Them type things. If not, then you know what I'm saying, I'll redo it, blah, blah, blah. But, hey, I just want to say thank y'all. Much love, bless up to everyone out there, everyone watching. Man, if you supported me, I love you. I can't show you how great I am. I can't show you how grateful I am, but deep down inside, I'm truly grateful. I'm moving with my heart. I'm moving with pure intentions, and you know what I'm saying. And I don't see no other way, man. I can't do this without support, without a team. I can't do this without people like y'all supporting me. So, man, hey, I'm not trying to beg nobody. You hear me? You either fuck with it or not. You feel me? Either way, somebody gonna fuck with this. You know what I'm saying? If you that person, man, hey, man, it's all love over here, man. Appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. So with that being said, I think that's the end of that video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share. You know, do what you do. Whatever, just show me some love. Hey, man, thank God. Hey, and thank y'all. Much love, bless up. With that being said, man, I'm out.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money.